Go.
All right. Hello, everyone. We're the group that's doing the community fair project. I'm Andrea. This is Lucia. That's Chetna, and this is Allison. And I am going to go ahead and kick us off into giving our overview of the project. So if we could go to the first slide. Wonderful. So, this focuses on planning and organizing a community fair in Hoboken for the spring season. The purpose of this event is to bring together residents, local organizations, and small businesses in a fun, welcoming environment that encourages community connection. Our fair will include food stalls, live performances, and interactive family activities to ensure there's something for everyone. We also aim to provide meaningful platforms for local vendors to showcase their products and services, supporting small businesses in this area. From a project management perspective, this initiative stimulates a real-world process that goes as logistics, planning, marketing, budgeting, and stakeholder engagement, allowing us to experience the full life cycle of coordinating a public event. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about our mission. So that's going to be on the next slide. Okay. The mission of our community fair is to promote community engagement and inclusivity by bringing together people in an environment, like I've said before. We want to celebrate the rich multiculturalism and local culture that makes Hoboken unique. We also want to support the small businesses and entrepreneurs by giving them a space to participate and connect with the residents. The key part of this mission is to create family-oriented events that feel safe, fun, and meaningful, ultimately helping to foster long-term relationships and stronger bonds with the community. And that is going to go ahead and bring us to objectives and success criteria. This focuses on ensuring the community fair is both well attended and well executed. We're aiming for over 300 attendees, which we'll track through our sign-ins or handouts, along with registering at least 10 local vendors. To create a lively and engagement environment, our goal is to host 5 or more live performances and interactive activities. We're targeting an attendee satisfaction rating of 4.0 out of 5.0 or maybe higher. And we want at least 80% of our vendors to be from the Hoboken area. Another important measure of success is that 90% of vendors report they will be participating again. From a project management perspective, meeting all key milestones by March 20 and maintaining a budget variance under 5% will be essential, and ultimately the success includes reporting zero safety incidents throughout the event. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about our key stakeholders. Our key stakeholders include groups who are directly involved or impacted by the community fair, as well as those who support it behind the scenes. Direct stakeholders are residents, vendors, performers, and community groups who participate in the event itself. The indirect stakeholders include the council, the police, EMS, sponsors, and volunteers, since they provide essential approvals, safety support, and resources that make the event possible. We also have internal stakeholders, which refers to our project team, responsible for planning, execution, and overall coordination. Each of these groups plays an important part in ensuring the fair runs smoothly and delivers value to our community. All right. Now
Okay.
we've got Lucia next.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. So now let's get into the scope of our project. So our community fair will include the complete management of administration. This means security in city council permits and venue contracts. Marketing, we will create a website and post on social media. Vendor management, we will recruit and coordinate local businesses and food stalls. Entertainment, so the booking and scheduling of live performances and family activities. And site operations, as we will rent and set up tents and take care of sanitation and security. However, what is excluded from the project scope is alcohol sales. No alcohol license will be pursued and the event will be strictly alcohol-free. Attendee transportation will also not be provided by us. And vendor insurance, vendors are required to provide their own certificates of insurances. So now that is clear what our project entails, let's get into the work breakdown structure. We have decided to divide all the activities of the work breakdown structure in these main 7 areas. So project management, planning and administration, marketing and promotion, vendor management, entertainment and activities, site logistics and operations, and the post-event. So now we can get into each area and the schedule behind it. So inside project management, we are going to develop a comprehensive project plan, which will be done the first thing, manage stakeholders and communication, which will be done all throughout the project, track budget and control cost will also be done all throughout the project, identify and mitigate risk will be done at the start of the project, hold regular project meetings will also be done all throughout the project. In the second area of planning and administrations, we will obtain the city council permits, which will be done at the start of the project, secure the event venue, which also will be done at the start. After that, we can go into defining volunteer roles and shifts. And lastly, at the end of the project, we will recruit and train volunteers. Inside marketing and promotion, we are going to develop event branding and marketing plan, the first thing. After that, we will create an event website and social media. And at the end of the project, when everything else is done, we can start to design and print and distribute materials and conduct local media and press outreach. Inside vendor management, this includes creating and distributing vendor applications, conducting outreach and review applications, collecting feeds, verifying permits, and assigning booths. And finally, at the end, when everything else is done, sending the final setup instructions and the sitemap. Then entertainment and activities. The first thing we will do is identify and book live performances. When that is finished, we will develop the main stage schedule and plan and supply interactive activities for the families. And lastly, at the end, we will coordinate performance activities and logistics. In the sixth area, site logistics and operations, everything will be done at the end. So we will rent and set up the stage, arrange power, sanitation, and safety, install event signage and decorations, and manage on-site operations the day of the event. And lastly, after the event is done, the closing will include overseeing site teardown and cleanup, collecting attended and vendor feedback, reconciling fine and budget and paying invoice, and conducting lessons learned and archiving. So that is our schedule for our project. And now we will get into the milestones overview, which Chetna will do.
Yeah, thank you, Lucia. So let me walk through the key milestones for the community fair and how they guide our project timeline. Our milestone act as a checkpoints to ensure the project stays on a track from November through April. Each milestone focused on planning, such as finalizing the project plan on November 24 and securing the venue by December 10. By late December, we must complete all city permits, which is critical to avoid schedule delays. Lucia, can you please go to next slide? Yeah, so January focuses on outward facing talks like launching the marketing campaign and finalizing entertainment. By December 20, we complete vendor onboarding and in early March volunteer requirement and training. The day before the event, March 19th, all site logistic must be full step up. Finally, after the event on March 20, we complete our closeout by April 3, including cleanup feedback and budgeting. So these milestones give structure to the entire project and help us managing dependencies effectively. Next slide. Next, so these are the key resources required to successfully execute the community fair. We rely on a small core team, including the project manager, vendor coordinator, marketing team, logistic lead, and volunteer coordinator. On event day, we need around 10 to 12 volunteers to support setup, registration, crowd flow, and tear down. Material resources, including essential like the stage, systems, tents, tables, chairs, decoration, and equipment. We also need safety related materials such as first aid supplies and power equipment to support vendors and performance. Technical resources include our project tracking, tools, budgets, spreadsheets, website, and social media platforms, and design tools for promotional materials. Together, these human, material, and technical resources allow us to run the event smoothly and professionally. Next slide. So here is the summary of the budget and how we allocate cost across the major project categories. We used a bottom-up estimation approach, assign cost to each WBS task to build an accurate budget. The total projected cost on the community fair is 24,000, including a 7% reserve. The largest expense are site logistics such as a stage, tents, which total about $600. Entertainment and activities are another major portion at around 5,800. Other key areas include marketing, venue rental, sanitation and safety, and volunteer support. Next slide. Yeah. So to keep the project on a track, we follow the structure monitoring and control system using each earned value management. We don't track check off task. We measure performance based on value earned compared to cost spent. We track three main metrics: planned value, earned value, and actual cost. Using this, we calculate two indices, CPI and SPI, which tell us how cost efficient and schedule efficient we are. If CPI or SPI down below 0.90, it means we are either over budget or behind the schedule. In that case, we take corrective action immediately. For cost issues, we use contingency but not essential scope or renegotiate vendor terms. Next slide. So, in that case, we take corrective actions immediately. If we are behind schedule, we fast track our cash task by adding extra resources to the critical path. We also report weekly through dashboards to maintain transparency and accelerate issues quickly. This monitoring structure helps us detect problem early and maintain tight control over cost and schedule performance. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. This is done. Yeah, so this is the corrective action. If over budget, use contingency reserve but not essential scope. Renegotiate vendor fee. Pause optional spending. If behind schedule, fast track task. Crash with extra resources. Focus on critical path and escalate delay early. And reporting points are weekly dashboard. Immediate acceleration for major issue. So now risk will be covered by Ali. Thank you.
Thank you. So now I will walk you through the key risks that we identified for the community fair project, and then along with their probability, impact, and our mitigation strategies. So the first major risk is severe weather. We rated this as high probability and a high impact since the event is outdoors and weather can directly affect attendance and safety. So to mitigate this, we plan to rent sidewalls for tents and heaters. We also want to clearly communicate a rain policy ahead of time, and then we want to use secure flooring to prevent mud or slipping. The next risk is the city permit denial/delays. This has a low probability but a critical impact because without permits, the event can't take place. So to minimize this risk, we will submit all permit applications 90 days in advance and conduct weekly follow-ups with the city clerk to ensure that everything stays on track. Another risk is vendor no-shows. This is rated medium probability and medium impact since vendor participation influences both attendee experience and the revenue of the event. So to fix this, we will require deposits from vendors and maintain a wait list of backups that we can contact quickly if one of the vendors decides to cancel. There also is the risk of a key performer canceling. This is a low probability but high impact risk because it can reduce crowd engagement and affect the overall schedule of the event. And to mitigate this, we'll include cancellation clauses in contracts and have backup entertainment options such as DJs, playlists, or an alternative performer. Next slide. So just a continuation of risks. Another risk involves low volunteer turnout. We rated this as medium probability and high impact since volunteers are essential for setup, check-in, safety. And to mitigate this, we'll over-recruit by 20% and we'll also try to offer small incentives and confirm shifts 48 hours before the event to ensure proper coverage. Next, is the risk of going over our budget by more than 5%. This has a medium probability and high impact because even small overruns can affect other event components. So to manage this, we'll use a contingency reserve and enforce change control for any expenses over $100 so that all adjustments are approved and can be tracked. And another risk is a potential safety or medical incident. Although the probability is low, the impact is high as the safety of attendees is the top priority. So to reduce this risk, we'll hire a police detail, station EMS, and require certificates of insurance from all vendors. And lastly, we looked at the risk of technical or audio failures. This is low probability with a medium impact given how important the microphones and sound systems are for the performances and announcements to be successful. So to mitigate this, we'll rent professional equipment and we'll have an on-site technician on standby just in case anything happens. And before the event opens, we'll do a full sound check. All right, next slide. Alrighty, so we will go into assumptions now. So we can assume that since the event will happen during the spring season, the weather will permit an outdoor event. And as talked about before, we'll make sure that the city permits are approved on time and that the vendors will meet all requirements and attend on time. And we will have volunteer turnout, which will meet our staffing need. And we will make sure to keep on track with our budget and pricing so that we don't go over our budget. And lastly, we will make sure that the project goes until the scheduled date that we allow for. All right, next slide. Okay, so now we'll look at dependencies. So this is obviously a big one. We depend on the city of Hoboken approvals for permits, safety, and sanitation reasons. And it will also rely on rental vendors for tents and equipment. And we will depend on food vendors, craft vendors, and performers to deliver an engaging experience for the attendees at the fair. In addition, weather conditions play a major role since the event is outdoors. And finally, we will depend on our marketing platforms and partner organizations to help drive attendance and really get the community fair memo out there for everyone in the community. And so now we will move to related projects and interdependencies. So there are a few outside factors that can affect our event. So first, we need to be aware of other city events happening the same weekend, since they can impact attendance, parking, and city resource availability. And So it's also important to look at local school and university schedules, which, you know, we kind of rely on those younger volunteers to help with the project. So that may influence their availability. And then finally, vendor participation in other spring events can affect their ability to commit to our fair. All right, next slide. All right, and lastly, for our project constraints, so for features, we're limited to about 50 booths and a set number of activities, but our goal is to overall deliver a fun and engaging fair for the community. And that degree of freedom will still have flexibility in how we have a mix of food, activities, and performances. And then in terms of quality, we must meet all city safety and permit requirements. So our objective is to ensure a safe and inclusive event. And with that, we'll have the freedom to, adjust the layout, the schedule, and the vendor setup as needed, depending on the space that is given. And for budget, we're capped at $24,000. The priority is maximizing offerings without overspending. So with that, we can use a contingency reserve or adjust non-essential items if necessary to keep within that budget. And for schedule, the event date is fixed March 20th, 2026. And our goal is to complete everything on time, but we can, make some minor adjustments to that prep schedule as allowed. And then finally, staffing is limited to 30 volunteers and our project team. And our goal is to efficiently manage booths, activities, and the logistics involved. And of course, there will be some flexibility with shifting or sharing volunteer roles. Alrighty, and thank you so much for listening.